Hello YouTube. Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch, also known as Mr. Lighting and a Fan. So right now the time is approximately 4:23 p.m. Eastern Time, and the date is still Monday, July 13th, 2020. The moon is waning in Taurus, and the sun is transiting in Cancer. How are you? Or as I normally say, how are you doing today? Because today is not the same as tomorrow, is not the same as yesterday. Today is today. So in an effort to do as much as possible before the beginning of August, I've come to realize that there are some videos that I have yet to upload. And there are some videos that for some reason I thought I had already recorded, but I did not already record. So I want to first acknowledge the living goddess of Jennifer Ball's Witch House, formerly known as Jennifer Ball's Spiritual Garage, and namely Jennifer Ball, because Jennifer Ball turned me on to supporting and encouraging indie decks. So as much as I do love mass market tarot decks and oracle card decks, I also have come to further or more fully appreciate, that's it, more fully appreciate independently published decks. So with that being said, not too long ago, I believe it was either a Kickstarter or an Indiegogo. I actually do not remember, but I want to say Kickstarter. And it was for the Mystic Male Tarot. And I loved the concept. The only thing I don't like about this deck is that it's a majors only deck. For the record, I've never been a fan of majors only cards or majors only tarot decks. It feels so incomplete for me. It still does. You know, I've only recently gotten used to tarot decks that have less than 78 cards, like the Akashic Tarot or Lucy Cavendish's The Oracle Tarot. But I digress. So I'm going to take a sip of my tea, and then I will do a proper intro to this beautiful deck. Wild blueberry and acai from Bigelow. Yum yum. Okay, so first of all, my intention is to do more than a walkthrough with this tarot deck, in addition to the Pride Tarot. And keep in mind that not every state in the United States and not every country on planet Earth celebrates LGBTQIAs plus Pride in June. Some celebrate it in other months, and some even celebrate it in the winter, believe it or not. So essentially, what I'm going to do is show you the back of the card design. Actually, I'm going ahead of myself. So I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person do a close-up of the front of the box. And now I'm going to have him do, hold on. Okay. Now I'm going to have him do a close-up of the back of the box. Okay. And the side. Now, little white booklet. And by the way, that's the Magician card on the cover. And I'm going to acknowledge the company, Astonishing Clear Tales, which is their logo on the back of the little white booklet. And the artist's name is, I better get this right. So for my own peace of mind, I'm going to look it up in the book. Okay, John C. Jennison Jr. He has a unique Instagram username, which I will include in this video. So what I'm going to do with this series of videos is I'm going to do more than a walkthrough with each of the 22 cards. I will also, but for now, I will share that on the back, the last page rather, of the little white booklet, he has what he calls simple card spreads. So there's the single card, which I love. I love pulling a card for the day, or lately it's been 2 cards for the week, but it's always been my personal belief that pulling a card for the day is one of the best ways to connect more deeply with a tarot deck, or an oracle card deck for that matter. And then probably one of the most well-known and often used 3-card spreads, past, present, future. But I also love that Mr. Jennison Jr., I was right the first time, did Calculating Your Birth Card. This is always very popular. And I'm going to quickly read it now as part of the intro video. So, to do this, you will add together all the digits of your date of birth. There are 22 cards in this deck. The Fool is number 0, so in this exercise, it will represent the number 22. Say you were born... I'm so sorry, you probably heard my awesome audiovisual person yawning. That's not part of the video. I know that he thinks that is, but it's my fault. I take blame for that because I made him a cup of coffee, you know, the specialty coffee at La Casa de Roberto, formerly known as Sheikh Albert. I made him a cup of coffee with not that much sugar and cream. And unfortunately, that's why he's yawning right now. As I was saying, say you were born March 16th, 1979. You would calculate it like this. 3 plus 1 plus 6 plus 1 plus 9 plus 7 plus 9 equals 36. 36 is higher than the 22 card total, so you will then break it down again. 3 plus 6 equals 9. The number 9 corresponds with the Hermit card, so your birth card would be represented by the Hermit. And it's so funny because, you know, even though I'm a happily recovered Catholic, I cannot tell you how many times I see the combination of the numbers 3 and 16. As in, and I actually forgot, I want to say the Gospel according to John, but I'm going to look that up after this video, obviously. And for those of you who are curious, I will include the passage from the King James Version. I find that the King James Version works best for me. I know there are more modern interpretations, but King James Version is the one that is my go-to. Even online, when I visit BibleGateway.com, King James Version is my automatic go-to. So, what I love about this deck is that it's a deck that, and it really is unique in the sense that it is one of a handful of gay male-themed tarot decks out there. Believe it or not, I do not have every gay male-themed tarot deck out there. There's one that is currently out of print, and there is another one that I prefer not to pay $500 for it. And believe me, it is close to $500. There is a tarot deck that was a gift from a client that is out of print, and it got damaged by rain recently. And when I saw how much Amazon is charging for it, let's just say that I was not thrilled. Anyway, with that being said, I really do love this tarot deck. I love the concept. I love that it also, and now mind you, I do not have a problem with male nudity. Ever. Ever. Like, I really do not. I actually had a friend who would only, would have me come to his home for a reading, and he would be nude, and I would be nude. And it was the first time that I've cast the cards fully nude. There are times when I've done it with other friends, but it is something that is not a common occurrence for me, especially given the fashion horse diva that I am, you know, the label whore diva that I am. It's like I wear clothes, you know. But all that being said, I am looking forward to exploring the Mystic Male Tarot with all of you, and I'm looking forward to diving deep within this deck, because I have a feeling that some of the non-traditional interpretations and some more intuitive interpretations for the major arcana are going to come into my being as I offer this series of videos. But for now, YouTube, thank you so much for honoring who I am and what I do. Thank you in advance for the likes, the shares, the comments, and the subscriptions. And thank you in advance for those of you who are ready to dive deep within and schedule your session with yours truly, Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch. Have a beautiful evening, and stay tuned for the next video.